This video is for aspiring truck drivers and soon-to-be CDL school grads that are hearing the narrative that there's a truck driver shortage, and that either has influenced your decision to get in trucking or it is influencing your decision to get in trucking. Without this knowledge, without this information, your chances of falling through the cracks and ending up a statistic in trucking in the first year are definitely higher. What's going on, family? Maurice Beta, Helpful Trucker here, back with another one. If you're new to the channel, you've never been here before, I give trucking tips and self-employment game to help y'all win out here. In this video, I'm gonna discuss one of the biggest, most widespread lies that exist in the trucking industry. Now, you're going to find out that once you get out of CDL school and you're in the profession for a while, that there's a lot of things that you heard about trucking. There's a lot of myths that you've heard about trucking that prove to be untrue. Stuff like autonomous trucks are going to take over trucking in the next 5 years. Or you got to lease a truck right out the gate in order to really make money. Or trucking's a way to get rich quick. You might just find out after you get in the profession and get settled in that a lot of the things that you heard about the profession may not be true. This lie that I'm going to discuss in this video 100% directly and adversely affects new drivers coming into the profession. So if that's you, stick around. So here's what the industry is telling you. Ever since 2021, it's been reported that the U.S. is 80,000 jobs, 80,000 truck driving jobs short of where it needs to be. And they claim that that number could go up in the coming years. This has been the claim ever since 2021. The claim that the trucking profession is short on drivers goes back way further than that. But for the last 4 years, since 2021, they've been claiming that the U.S. is 80,000 truck drivers short of where it needs to be. And if you haven't heard that, I don't know what kind of rock that you've been under, because that is the prevalent message that's out in the community. So that's what the industry is telling you. But here's what the facts and the numbers say, family. A report done by OOIDA just a few months ago in May 2025, it's titled The Churn, and it talks about how many major truckload carriers have annual turnover of over 90%, meaning most drivers aren't staying at these big companies their first year. They're not staying past a year. They also went on in the same report to say that other indicators that should be present in a labor shortage just aren't present. In other words, in a true labor shortage, wages go up because companies are trying to attract talent. Hiring bonuses go up. Retention efforts go up. Efforts go up to improve working conditions in order for companies to be able to attract better talent. But drivers aren't reporting any of that. No increased wages, no efforts to improve working conditions, no real efforts to retain the drivers that are there. So what OOIDA suggests in this article called The Churn is that these big carriers have found a way to turn this high turnover, this high churn rate, into an actual business model, which could be viewed as kind of smart if you think about it. I mean, if you got high turnover at your company, you can either work internally to improve conditions so that people want to stay, or you can just figure out a way to make it work with the high turnover. And OOIDA is suggesting that these major trucking companies have figured out a way to do just that. So drivers, labor, isn't reporting anything getting better, which typically happens in a true labor shortage. Another thing to consider, did you know that over 400,000 CDLs are issued every year in America on average? That means in the last 5 years, there's been 2 million CDLs to be issued in America. So let's just say, for the sake of saying, that out of those 400 annual CDLs that are handed out, 90% of the individuals never enter the profession. For one reason or the other, they never come into trucking. That leaves 40,000 net after all the fallout. 40,000 new CDL holders coming into the profession every year. In 5 years, which happens to be ever since this has been reported, this 80,000 truck driver shortage has been being reported, that would mean in 5 years, you've got 200,000 new CDL holders. Heck, they report that the U.S. is 80,000 truck drivers short. Let's round it up to 100. The numbers obviously still don't add up when you contrast that with the number of people that are coming into the profession and getting CDLs every year. Also consider this, truck drivers already don't have anywhere to park. I mean, if they had those 80,000 new trucks and new truck drivers on the road tomorrow, where the freak we all gonna park at? Again, at the end of the day, family, it just doesn't make sense. So what does this imply? The driver shortage, at best, is a convenient industry myth. It's not a market reality, family. This implies that there is no real shortage of willing drivers. This implies that there's a shortage of good jobs. High turnover, as noted by OIDA in the article The Churn, is typically a result of a system failure, not a labor shortage. It implies that trucking isn't broken because of drivers, but because how drivers are treated. And as long as this narrative is being pushed, it also implies that the industry doesn't plan on really doing anything about this situation to benefit the drivers, the people that it affects adversely the most. And it also implies that they don't even know the real problem that is obvious to so many. At the end of the day, truckers want respect, which basically means if you say you need us, why the hell can't we feel that love? This is the biggest lie that exists in trucking, in my opinion. Why? Because it affects so many. It potentially affects all of the new drivers that come into the profession. Now, in 30 seconds, I'm gonna share with you who's promoting this narrative and why. So continue to stick around, continue to listen. I'm gonna keep on sharing value with you. But just a small disclaimer, I'm not trying to scare anyone who's thinking about getting in this profession. I'm in this profession, and this profession has been good to me. And it's been good to most of the people that I know that are in this profession. So I'm not trying to scare you. I'm simply trying to prepare you for what you're gonna be walking into. There are plenty of people that come in this profession and find success and fulfillment within their first year. But there are a lot of people that do fall through the cracks. And I'm trying to help you not be one of those people by giving you the knowledge so you'll know what to look out for, the mindset that'll help you understand how to approach this profession in this current environment, and hopefully that'll help you get your expectations in order, because unmet expectations is one of the things that leads to disappointment when people come into this profession or engaging with anything in life. So I'm just trying to offer you a helping hand. If you feel like this video is doing that, be sure to give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel so you'll be notified as I continue to upload more helpful content. So who's pushing this narrative? The ATA is who's pushing this narrative, the American Trucking Association. They are the largest trade association in the US for the trucking profession. Now, the ATA represents mostly mega carriers and corporate trucking interests, not necessarily the drivers. It's being reported that mega carriers, through the ATA, push the shortage narrative to unlock government-funded training programs and federal support. Many call the model corporate welfare, funneling taxpayer dollars into high turnover churn rather than genuine opportunity, which essentially means they rather put money into making the business model work like it is with high churn, as opposed to improving working conditions. Another reason I believe they keep this narrative going, this lie going, is basically to keep their pipeline full, family. New people in any organization are the lifeblood, and this narrative is the heart of that lifeblood, pumping people, pumping blood through the industry, through the system. Now, as a newbie, you might not know much as far as what to look out for, but you'll probably feel it if you are a victim of this situation. You might feel like you got rushed into the wrong first trucking job. You might feel like you're being treated like just another number, because you are to them. Truckers that fall through this crack end up quickly feeling burnt out because they may have rushed their decision to get started on their trucking job. Once reality sets in, you may feel that you've been manipulated or lied to, and you might feel the result of inflated expectations, meaning what you got was totally different than what you expected. And again, not everybody experiences this, but in my opinion, there's more people experiencing this. There's more drivers coming into the industry experiencing these things, not being able to find jobs with clean backgrounds. Like, there's too many of these disappointing work environments that new people are experiencing for this to have all the traits of a true labor shortage. The people that come in and can't find jobs know exactly what I'm talking about. So after hearing all this, if you're one of those people that you're like, you know what, I heard all of that, and I'm planning on getting started as a truck driver. I'm planning on not slipping through the cracks. I'm planning on being one of the successful ones. So how do I do this? How do I approach trucking? How do I not end up being a statistic in my first year? If you're asking those questions at this point, you're gonna have to stay tuned to the channel. That's the next video that I'm gonna upload.